me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I have a very low voice in front of me. And on top of that, I have the daunting task of speaking sandwiched between two great Imams, Imam Wazir, our beloved local Imam, and Imam Zaid, our beloved visiting Imam. So alhamdulillah wa shukrillah, I wanted to start by reminding myself and all of us inshallah that, as Imam Wazir said, that these teachers are beacons of light. And a beacon of light, this is confirmed from the prophetic hadith in which our Messenger ﷺ said that the examples of scholars on the earth is like the examples of the stars in the heavens. مثل العلماء في الأرض كمثل النجوم في السماء يهتدى بهم في ظلمات البر والبحر. That because of them we find guidance is found. People are guided in the darknesses of land and in sea. And as Imam Zaid will inshallah teach us and contextualize the discussion of the many darknesses that we face in our time and the need for our ulama. And so our Prophet ﷺ described that these beautiful Imams as lights of the heavens. Just like lights of the heavens, there are lights on earth. And the secret of blessing, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, if you show gratitude, I will increase you. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has graced our community with local beacons of light and visiting beacons of light. And the key to holding on to them so that we can benefit more from them is to show shukr for them. And if we, God forbid, fail to show gratitude for our teachers, then we become liable to losing these blessings or access to these blessings. And so I wanted to start off by a request that we all read Surah Al-Fatiha, that Allah protect our teachers, Allah bless our teachers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to benefit from our teachers, that Allah protect them, give them afiyah, give them security and safety and health and long lives full of good deeds. As the Messenger ﷺ said, خَيْرُ النَّاسِ مَنْ طَالَ عُمْرُهُ وَحَسُنَ عَمَلُهُ. The best of people is the one whose life is long and whose deeds are good. So we'll read Surah Al-Fatiha inshallah. And on top of the fact that I'm speaking between these two giants, I have the daunting task of speaking about a giant topic, which is Taqwa. And as Imam Wazir taught us, Taqwa is to make a protection. It comes from wiqaya. And so the ulama say it's to put a wiqaya between you and sakhatullah, between yourself and the displeasure or the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so that in our days and our nights, in our moments throughout life, that we should constantly be placing the shield between ourselves and all that displeases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so obviously to practice that and to perfect that is so daunting. To speak about it is even more daunting. And so I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that whatever I say is from my heart and not from my tongue. As the ulama say, مَا خَرَجَ مِنَ الْقَلْبِ دَخَلَ فِي الْقَلْبِ. Whatever comes out of the heart will enter the heart. وَمَا خَرَجَ مِنَ اللِّسَانِ لَمْ يُجَاوِزِ الْآذَانِ. But whatever is merely lip service, it won't penetrate through the ears. And so the two aspects of taqwa that I've been asked to speak about are how to increase taqwa and some du'as that can help increase taqwa. And so I'll start with at least one du'a, inshallah, the du'a that I made in the beginning. And this is in Surah Al-Furqan, the 25th chapter of the Quran, towards the end, in the ayat that describe Ibadur Rahman, the servants of the All-Merciful, that amongst the descriptions of these servants of the All-Merciful is that they say, رَبَّنَا هَبْ لَنَا مِنْ أَزْوَاجِنَا وَذُرِّيَّاتِنَا قُرَّةَ أَعْيُنٍ وَاجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. That, O our Lord, make from our spouses and our children the delight of our eyes, and let us be amongst of the muttaqeen the very foremost. وَاجْعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. And so if we look at this dua, it's very beautiful. First, the first half, that asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our families delightful for our eyes. And we should request Risala Foundation to do a seminar on taqwa and marriage specifically, because we right now have a taqwa crisis in our marriages. So we have, if we look at the divorce rate right now, in America in general, but specific, and even amongst Muslims, especially amongst Muslims, the divorce rate is very high. And part of the problem is that we forgot the teaching of our Prophet ﷺ, who taught us, لا يفرق مؤمن مؤمنة إن كره منها خلقا رضي منها آخر. That, you know, one of the things about marriage is that after the initial phase that's so glittery and, you know, the honeymoon phase, once that wears off and then you see the person for who they really are and they see you for who you really are, and suddenly it's not, the person's not perfect, they have faults because they're human beings, and your faults are exposed because you're a human being. And so then, you know, one of the unfortunate aspects of our culture is that we live in such a consumer culture where we have so many options. So you go to the grocery store, you have an entire aisle full of cereals, some with fruity, some wheat, some creamy, I don't know. You have an entire aisle of ice cream, vanilla with like a bit of almond, vanilla with like, you know, pistachio, chocolate and honey, I don't know what kind of ice cream they have. And you know, everything has so many options. You know, the shirts that you buy and the clothes that we buy and the automobiles. You have the AC and the automatic this and you know, SUV versus the Sudan, whatever the different options. And so we have this idea that, you know, if I don't like what I get, I'll just discard it and replace it, that things are disposable. And for a very telling discussion of this aspect of our culture, there's a book that it's called Affluenza, I just started reading, and it actually has a section where some psychologists have discussed how this aspect of our assuming everything is disposable carries over to our marriages. And so the person then, when he or she sees the faults of their spouse, they think, well, maybe I can just get another spouse. And the hadith that I mentioned, the translation is, let no believer despise their spouse. Because if there's a certain quality they don't like, there's other qualities that they do like. You know, and so the sunnah is not that, you know, the sunnah is to look at the positive, because it's not going to be perfect. And that's part of taqwa. Taqwa is to guard yourself from the displeasure of Allah with your spouse. And so coupled with this beautiful hadith is the first half of this dua, is that ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our families the coolness of our eyes. You know, make our families the coolness of our eyes. And then the second half, وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا, not just that we are amongst the muttaqeen, but we're at the very foremost. Oh Allah, make me an imam of taqwa. You know, make me an imam, make me someone with so much taqwa that people around will look up to me in taqwa. And that we should want to be leaders in taqwa, not necessarily leaders in other aspects of our lives. And this is so beautiful, because to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for taqwa, you know, the ulama say, خَيْرُ مَا تَطْلُبُ مِنْهُ مَا هُوَ طَالِبُهُ مِنْكَ. The very best thing you can ask from Him is what He demands from you. And so, the best thing that we can ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is what He's asking from us. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks that we have ikhlas, we should say, oh Allah, grant me ikhlas, grant us ikhlas. Allah demands taqwa, and not just any taqwa, but haqqa tuqatihi, as Imam Wazir so eloquently explained to us, the very, you know, the right of Allah, the taqwa that is owed to the divine. And as he explained, that this is understood by the other ayah, فَاتَّقُوا مُسْتَطَعْتُمْ, that have taqwa as much as you're able to. And Imam Baydawi defines haqqa tuqati as استفراغ الوسع في القيام بالواجب والاجتناب المحارم, is to do your utmost in fulfilling all the duties inwardly and outwardly, and avoiding all the prohibitions inwardly and outwardly. You know, it's a very tall task. And so with that, خَيْرُ مَا تَطْلُبُ مِنْهُ مَا هُوَ طَالِبُهُ مِنْكَ, the best thing that you can ask from Him subhanahu wa ta'ala is what He demands of you. So if He demands from us that we have haqqa tuqatihi, we shouldn't just ask for taqwa, we should ask to be imams of taqwa. We should ask to be the foremost of taqwa. وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا. And so this is really important. And another dua that is relevant, inshallah, is Allahumma arina al-ashya kama hi or Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqa warzuqna ittiba'ah wa arina al-batila batila warzuqna ijtinaba. That Allah show us things as they really are. And another narration, show us truth as truth and give us the wherewithal to follow it. And show us falsehood as falsehood and give us the wherewithal to abstain from it. Because a lot of the problem with taqwa is that we don't see what it is that we need to see. Because the people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when they see the haram, they literally see the fire. When they see something that displeases Allah, it's as if how people of this dunya see the fire. They're like, oh my God, there's no way I'm going there. And when they see what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they see paradise. That their paradise is in the pleasure of Allah. And their Jahannam is in the displeasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the way that our Imams are. This is the legacy of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And so we should ask Allah, oh Allah, show us things as they really are. Show us reality, show us truth as truth, and give us the wherewithal to follow it. And show us falsehood as falsehood, and give us the strength and wherewithal to stay away from it. And one of the beautiful things about dua, subhanAllah, as Ibn Atala, rahimahullah ta'ala, he says that إِذَا أَطْلَقَ لِسَانَكَ بِالطَّلَبِ فَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ يُرِيدُ أَنْ يُعْطِيَكَ. That if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you the tawfiq to ask Him for something, then realize He wants to give you that thing. So the people that are asking for ikhlas, it's a sign Allah wants to give them ikhlas. The people that are asking for tawfiq, it's a sign Allah is going to give them tawfiq. The people that are asking for taqwa, it's a sign Allah is going to make them among the muttaqeen. And the people that say, وَجَعَلْنَا لِلْمُتَّقِينَ إِمَامًا, they will become imams of taqwa, inshallah. That's a sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He wants to make them imams of taqwa. And so this is the dua mukhul ibadah, as our Prophet ﷺ taught. Dua is the very essence of worship and devotion. And mukh also means the marrow. It's the very core of devotion. And so really dua, my two tasks go together. How to increase taqwa, and what are du'as to increase taqwa? Make dua for taqwa. That's how you increase taqwa. And that's a sign Allah wants to give you taqwa. So really a dua. In terms of general nasiha, how to increase taqwa after dua, one of the keys to attaining to taqwa, and it's something that Allah Alam might not be emphasized enough in our communities, is to understand and learn about the obstacles to taqwa. Right, the obstacles to taqwa. And our ulama, from the Quran and Sunnah, they have derived that there are 4 main obstacles to taqwa, to a strong relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these 4 are the nafs, the hawa, the shaitan, and the dunya. That the nafs, which is the lower self or the ego, and some of our ulama define it as kullu wasfin munaqidin li'ubudiyyati, that every trait of the human being that contradicts his state of submission to Allah. Okay, every trait of the human being that contradicts his state of submission. Because the nafs, you can't destroy yourself. If the nafs is transited itself, you can't destroy yourself. The nafs is at the same time the most precious thing we have. Because it's that which will last forever and that which can know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The nafs is you, the nafs is me. So the nafs that's blameworthy in the Quran and Sunnah, وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ, that I do not absolve myself. Verily the nafs is that which commands the evil. That's the nafs, كُلُّ وَصْفٍ مُنَاقِضٍ لِعُبُودِيَّتِكَ. Every quality that you have, every trait that you have that contradicts you're being a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That the people that can overcome those traits, their nafs is not ammara bisu anymore. It goes to lawama, it starts blaming itself and working on itself until it gets to al-mutma'inna, the nafs that is at a state of tranquility with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.